So let me give you a 5,000-foot view of what self-healing technology is supposed to do, okay? Tools operate under the principle of making small tests and comparisons, multiple times. Those comparisons create variable values that we refer to as agents. And when an agent is first created, it's given a value. Over time, that value is modified up or down based on your interactions. That is the simplest definition of machine learning I will ever be able to give anybody. Because that's all that it is. You create an array. You create a number of values. Each value is associated with some piece that you want to query or verify that it's there. A locator, for example. If you run a test and the locator shows up and your test passes, that agent increments its value. In other words, you're giving that locator more presence. It matters more. The agent is determining that it matters more. Now, if you run that test again and it fails, then that agent is decremented. And if another variable gets pulled in and run and that locator successfully passes your test, then its agent is incremented. And over time, what you're going to see is you're going to have all these agents, and they're going to move, and they're going to be stacked up. And 100 tests run, you might have agent A is your most important one, agent B is your next most important one, and agent C is your third one. But after you run it 200, 500 times, agent A may have dropped because it's not as reliable, whereas agent C is now super reliable because it's getting all the hits. And B, you've realized, has changed, so it doesn't matter anymore, and you can pull it out of the list and let something else get a value. Script and its underlying libraries have the ability to adapt and try different things. The level of complexity, of course, can and will likely grow. So with machine learning, it's not like you have a little limited batch of agents. It's everything. It's all of your locators. And if you start running hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of tests, then what you are doing is you are keeping track of tens of thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of agents. And those agents get a hierarchical rank, and over time, again, you're focusing on which ones are more reliable and which ones are less reliable. So the key here is, again, if you are looking at locators and you're looking at ranking locators, then they have to be pulled in. If you're going in and say you're looking at a username, and you're only looking for that username, and if you get a successful pass, you're good, but if you get a fail, well, you're not looking for anything else. So in this case, an agent's not going to help you because you have a hit or miss chance of 1. So ultimately, if you keep running the test, you might actually bring your agent count to 0, but it's got nothing to compare to, so it doesn't really matter. But in this case, you can have a set of locators, IDs, or CSS classes, or XPaths, names and labels. And also, you can run the ability of having lots of parameters or attributes that you want to keep track of, not just the one. So let's say, for example, we have a username, and a developer changes it to initial username. Now, if you're only doing the one-to-one example and you're looking for username literally, just that label, it's going to fail. Done. It's just going to. Now, you could go in and say, oh, they changed it to initial username. I'll just go in and I'll change my tests. Can you do that? Yeah, sure. If it's spread out over hundreds or thousands of tests, that's going to be awfully time-consuming. So you probably wouldn't want to necessarily say, I want it to be this specific name. Now, you could say, I'll put a regex pattern in instead, right? That's another way that you can deal with this. You could say, I only care about the one value, but I can modify my test so that what that one value is, if the value changes, as long as this little piece stays the same, then I'll be in the clear, and that's okay. But again, is there any guarantee that it will? No, not necessarily. And so if they take that little piece you're relying on and it's no longer valid, then you're back where you started from. So what you want to do instead, and what self-healing automation encourages, is to capture or understand multiple aspects of a web element and how to interact with it.